Welcome to In the Studio with Ophelia. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you've ever been curious about Charvin acrylic paints and what makes them so unique, just keep watching. With an impressive range of 118 colors, Charvin Acrylics offers a stunning selection. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by all of the color choices, Jerry'sArtorama.com offers curated sets in a variety of colorways to inspire your next painting. On the website, you can find these individual colors in 60 milliliter tubes and 150 milliliter tubes, as well as an array of curated sets. I found myself in a bit of a rut with my current color choices, so I decided on this earth shade set as a challenge to myself to try out different colors. This earth shade set includes 9 20 milliliter tubes consisting of savannah, yellow ochre, phthalo, saffron, raw sienna, burnt sienna, raw umber, burnt umber, and sepia. All of the products that I'm going to be using today, I will make sure to have them linked in the video description below. Charvin of Paris has long been recognized as one of the premier paint manufacturers of Europe, having supplied artists with high quality oil paints and mediums for such a long time. And more recently, artists have been evolving along with technology and the ease and accessibility of acrylics. Artist paint has come into higher demand. So, the owner, Bruno Charvin, who is also a master color maker, was determined to provide artists with an innovative acrylic color that was nothing short of the best. After years of research, experimentation, and testing, Charvin Extra Fine Acrylics was officially born. Just like Charvin oil paints, these extra fine acrylics use only the highest quality traditional and modern pigments, which are triple milled to an extreme degree of fineness. Pigments are then blended with the highest quality acrylic polymer, which results in a highly concentrated color in a luxurious, creamy consistency. I grabbed my painter's color diary and I swatched out all of the colors that came in the set just so I could see what they would actually look like, and then to check and see if they were transparent or opaque. I also pulled in some Lucas Titanium White. I always find that I use white on my palette to just kind of tone things down or just bring things when I feel as though I've gone a bit too wild or dark or heavy with color. I use titanium white just to kind of bring things down a bit. So immediately I grabbed titanium white just to kind of mix in to see what I could do with these colors. And I pulled out my color wheel because I wanted to find a color that would pop. So I was looking for colors with those yellows across the color wheel, which is why I landed on purples, some turquoise just to try it out, and reds. I really like the way that red looked, but you'll see here in the end, I never even used the purples that I'd pulled out or those turquoise. I then pulled out some other colors, the first one being Blue Shadow, but it just leaned a bit too purple-ish for me, so of course I went back to my trusty Lucas Payne's Gray. With these additional colors, I thought I had everything that I needed, and so I grabbed these Strathmore mixed media papers that I'd cut down into 2.5 inch by 3.5 inch. I usually like working small like this as warm-ups or just to test out different color choices or ideas and not feel as though I'm wasting a lot. I had cut down 5 pieces to create some backgrounds to go with the 5 additional pop colors that I had chosen, and so I'm just using the colors in this set to paint some different backgrounds, and then I would test out the 5 different colors that I found that would technically be my pop colors. I was going to then create little small paintings on each of these 5 backgrounds to just kind of test out which one of my pop colors I liked the most before I moved on to larger paintings. I always find that starting with these smaller pieces of paper, I don't feel as though I'm really messing up anything. I can either use a painting that I create, or if I don't really like it so much, I can kind of glue it down in my sketchbook and just document what went wrong or what I did not really like about it. Or I will show you at the end if I end up really liking something that I create, I can always use it for creating a little card. So here you'll just kind of watch me go through my process of painting, where I am just creating some backgrounds just to audition these colors that I had chosen to be my, and I keep putting them in air quotes, but to be my pop colors. In my usual painting style, once that first layer has dried, I will come in with additional paint just to kind of add more color in case I've gone a little too far with the white paint and I just want to bring some more of that paint back. I love using it's the Soho uh, plastic palette or Soho palette knife, and it's a plastic palette knife. It has 2 edges, and I love using that to actually place paint where I want. I also love using it as a marking tool, and I also used a regular, it's a Cezanne HB pencil to just make marks. But for right now, with this second layer, I'm just adding in more color to brighten things up or to make the colors a bit more vibrant. And then I'm also adding a little more paint here and there to just kind of get these backgrounds the way that I would want them. And I end up doing that with, additional mark making tools like a pencil or a palette knife. A lot is done with my fingers, um, just to build the background in a way that I want it to be before I go in with my punch color. And I keep saying that in air quotes, but the color that's going to offer me a pop of color. Now, these original colors that I had chosen were permanent red violet, dioxazine purple, purple, cobalt turquoise, azuri blue, cardinal red. And then I just wasn't so satisfied with those, or I just kept looking and thinking that they weren't going to work. So I found in my stash the color khaki, as well as green gold, another color that is called anise. I think I'm saying that correctly. And then a turquoise blue, and that's the 3 colors that I just showed you on screen. I ended up taking that green gold and mixing it with phthalo and saffron just to see what I thought it would make, because I was just looking for a bright color, but I didn't really like the way that it turned out. But the color that won over all of the others was the turquoise blue. It just provided the perfect bright blue to just pop, as I say in air quotes, off of the earthy colors of the yellows and the browns. So now, with the decision of using turquoise blue as my air quotes pop of color, I grabbed my Jerry's Jumbo Jet black pencil, and that's the pencil that I will usually use to really make some heavy dark marks. I also grabbed some color shifters as well as like a micro brush, because a lot of times when I'm working and my paint is wet but I want to just place color somewhere or scrape color away, I will end up using those. And then I decided that there was no rule against using two pops of colors. So I would go between the turquoise blue and the cardinal red as my, air quotes, pops of color in each one of these paintings. And I just love the bright that the turquoise as well as that red brings to the earthy shades of this set. I will often use these pops of color as accents or final details in my paintings, as well as, some splatters here and there, or just, I guess, a way of finishing off these little paintings. And I found it so interesting that I'd selected 5 little pieces to work on, even though I did not even use any of the purples or the original colors that I selected, but I just kept going. And I would work around each one of the paintings, adding those pops of colors in certain areas just as details or to finish off each one of the paintings. It is also during this stage of paintings where I love making marks with a variety of tools. This is definitely where my Jerry's Jumbo Jet Black pencil comes in handy, or using that Soho palette knife to kind of scrape in. I just love bringing it all together once I've found the perfect colors. Once I've finished them all off, and as I explained earlier in the video, working on these smaller pieces, I don't feel as though a lot is lost if I don't like it, because I can just glue it in my sketchbook and document what went wrong. But then I love using these Strathmore mixed media cards, and for the ones that I do love, I just end up taking them and turning them into cards and then mailing off a handwritten note to friends. Thank you guys so much for joining me today as we looked deeper into Charvin acrylic paints. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.